Welcome back, friends, to Occultists Anonymous, sponsored by Roll20, The Onyx Path, and viewers like you. Thank you for joining us every time. It really does mean a lot to us. We appreciate you guys being here. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed, following, hanging out, chatting. Again, because I'm remembering it now and I'm going to keep harping on it, go check out Wards and Witchcraft, because this time I actually remembered the freaking name. They're the other guys putting on a mage YouTube thing. They're just starting on 2E the way we were, so be fucking nice. Don't try and tell them what they did wrong. Their Storyteller is in our Discord, so if they have questions, they'll ask. And also, we're IMing and going back and forth, and dude, Cosmic Cassidy is like the coolest thing. Like, oh, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. I'm like, no, hang on. Just come alongside. Let's just do this together, man. Don't be like that. So, but yeah, trust me. They'll figure out the rules on their own, and they're coming from 1E. So, because I watched their first episode.
They already know more than we did.
Well, I was watching their first episode. They're like, that's going to be a -2 reach penalty, and I went, oh no, hang on. And so I was like, hang on, which rules are you guys using? And so they're making the transition over to 2E. So yeah, be nice. They're figuring out the rules the same way we did a year and 8 months ago. Wow.
It's really been that long?
It's been that long. It's back, March. Oh. Okay, so
it feels like so much longer, though.
2020, motherfuckers. The year that does not end.
It's like 300 years ago.
Yeah.
I was talking to my friend whose wedding I went to in February.
And
was like, oh yeah, I just remembered that you got married this year.
Just this year. Yeah. If you're watching this somehow in 2025 or something, and
you're watching this in the after times,
right?
And all record of our struggle has been lost.
It really was this bad. Sorry, got sidetracked. Thank you, everybody who supports us on Patreon. Adele, Al, Alan, Michael, Alexander, Algos, Bernie, Blasphemer, that's Blasphemer as in the bone. Okay. Blood Angel, Brandon, Doc, Emil, George, Jack, James, Jenny, John, Josh, Cat Feathers, Crazy Man, Melissa, Michael, Milo V3, Moku, Noba, the other Michael, Perry, Puppeteer, Ramon, Rovesgrad, Ryan, Sebastian, Sinna, Terry, the almost formerly deceased Mr. Graves. Nice. Thomas, Usasama, Vortex, Woodfoot, and Zoltan. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and hanging out and supporting us. It means a lot to us. And it's, like we said, a year and 8 months, really, and you guys are here supporting us, and this is far more than we ever imagined. So it's very, very cool to be doing this with you guys. We appreciate it. Cool. And I do new names in chat that I'm not recognizing. So that's always cool to see. When we last left the Cabal, if you haven't caught it on YouTube, Ashes of the Past. We tied up some loose ends, thanks to a little hint from Moonkeeper. Also, hang on, because Songbird was over there grooving. Everybody, please acknowledge that Chris has got set up with a new DSLR, and he looks super fancy. And now clearly I need to upgrade my setup. So yes.
I found the one spot on my desk that this will work for.
Of course, it means that you have that kind of crinking your neck the entire time. Well, if you want to look at the camera. But should we switch to prank?
No, don't. It was cooler the other way.
Everyone only stare at your cameras.
Yeah. Oh Lord. No, chat, please do not everybody switch to prank names. It's funny when only a couple people do it. That said, April 1st, you have my blessing. Everybody go change your name for a silly prank thing. Anyways, Moonkeeper basically showed up and said, the future fucking sucks. You guys need to fix some shit. Yeah. I'm out.
No, he said, the future fucking sucks. It's your fault.
Yep.
Preemptively clean up your mess, you shitheads.
Also that.
That's Word's interpretation anyway.
Sure. And
it was a Dragon Ball Z. In my timeline, you all are
dead. And Weird and Songbird both looked at each other and said, well, we were really busy for the past 8 to 12 hours Atratus, she's like, I was fucking sleeping. Cool, volunteered. Foomp, and sent back to the past to undo the evil that is Aku. Sorry, I've been on a marathon recently.
I mean, it was also kind
nice.
of my fault, so.
A little bit, yeah. Okay, Perry is pointing out, April 1st is the Thursday. Okay, then do it on April 2nd. Jeez. Whatever. Yeah, undid the boo-boo of letting some seer bodies get out from under their control, which could be resurrected by, a mage just like Atratus. So quick little fix there. One body literally getting zapped on Tassos's, is it an operating table? I guess it is. Examination table. The other having to be located via scry, which also revealed the unlife of Cynthia, Graves's paramour partner. You guys never really found out.
It's complicated.
It's very complicated. And so Songbird just, yes, you're trying to resurrect Mr. Graves. Yes. Just lean back a little bit more, sweetie, and voofed.
Clear the blast zone.
And goodbye to Mr. Graves, hopefully for the last time. But, mages can do dumb shit. And then basically, actually, I think we ended with the
Pretty
big
much left
boom.
it on that.
Yeah. And so that's kind of where we left off, which I guess basically lets us immediately swing into that afternoon. Okay, now back to the whole reason we were getting together to begin with is, so this grimoire.
Mm-hmm. Let me sit down. I am staring at the door. Making sure nobody else is coming.
And seems so.
All right.
So we need to contact Zulius.
There's a knock at the door. No.
Motherfucker.
Son of a bitch! No. Yeah. And because at this point, Nako and Network are completely caught up with the situation. Okay.
Hmm.
And Judd obviously knows what the hell is going on. Titus has been here as basically as long as anybody else, in one way or another. So yeah.
So we need to be a lot more careful about loose ends if we're going to be thwarting Archmage or Archmage adjacent individuals.
Yeah. Kicking in Archmage's door and robbing them.
Presumably he won't actually be there, but
presumably he won't actually be an Archmage.
Sure.
Yeah, they only purport to be Archmages.
Fingers crossed, but
Like, by definition, to be an adamant sage, you have to have like all these qualifications, but not all of them do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because politics are a thing.
Yeah.
So and while it's less of a thing for Pentacle mages, within the series, it's very common to obfuscate exactly how good you are at this thing or that thing. Don't show your weaknesses. Don't reveal all your strengths, because they do a lot of the backstabby stuff.
As we have seen and assisted.
Yep. Participated in.
Okay, so we're just gonna text him.
Now, to give you guys a quick meta out of character reminder, Atratus can obviously just do perfect recall and remember this anyways. Zolius basically told you that when you want the location, he can give it to you, but it wasn't necessarily going to be a ongoing thing where he can constantly keep you updated on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that said, basically following up with him and being like, dude, they're both dead and I've made sure that they're not coming back, and just kind of marking it down as you now officially owe us, or what have you, or even, pumping him for other information.
Yeah, basically he can give us information that is good right now. So.
Or we'll get back to us shortly with the information we'll need.
Yep.
But it might have a short fuse or a very short expiry date.
Contacting him will be when we are ready to go. Then.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we have a plan of attack beyond just show up?
It'll be like we've been to several of these places before, and it's basically just like a warehouse-ish. Like whatever the building actually is, the function is serving as a warehouse of different artifacts. But we can expect if it's a live one, that there'll be more protections in place. And probably beefier guards in addition to the regular security component.
The other thing to remember is you're talking about the Panopticon, so by default, space is going to be involved. So where ends up being a little bit of a misnomer.
Mm-hmm.
Teleporting doors.
Like it might even be that the location we get is just how we access the iris to get to wherever
the pocket dimension
is.
with the things are, or whatever.
That could be too.
I mean, that's actually, when you guys went to go kill Graves, that's what you found was, oh yeah, they're set up here. Well, it's actually a bunch of portals to other places.
Okay, so prepping for fights with.
Yep.
Yeah.
And leaving no traces.
I mean, I don't see why we need to leave no trace. They already know we have the others. If this one gets attacked and stolen, they know who took it.
Network points out that actually brings up two questions there. One, if we have the 4 of the 5 that they're looking for, why haven't they come for them? Besides Zolius's bullshit. And then also, if we do get the 5th one, like, how do we secure these? Because again, then we have all 5, and what are those 5 going to do?
In civilization, maybe?
No, it's fine.
I mean, I think our current strategy had been to just sort of sequester them with various orders. Like, not have any one group be responsible for all of them, but like, you take care of this one.
The arrow still has the one that Mashta originally stole.
Correct. Yep. The Drazon's
Mysterium
Codex
has Judd.
Sort of. I mean, currently sitting here.
He's a person.
Right.
He can come and go as he pleases.
The other 2 are basically behind a wall somewhere in the Rookery.
Here, yeah.
That is a good point. Maybe we're lower on the priority list.
Maybe these things really aren't that great. Been wasting our time.
I mean, it also just might be that they feel relatively comfortable coming and getting them. Not really in a hurry for it, but yeah.
Every time that we've interacted with any of them, they have underestimated us, and they have failed. And
yeah. You cut out.
And they have died.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I could definitely buy them just sort of going like, oh, how nice, you've gathered them all for us. Handy.
Yep.
With the attitude of when they want them, they can just come get them.
Like, the only seer that's, like, fully taken us seriously was Abaddon, and he, like, as soon as we were done with our, like, deal, got the fuck out.
Which, I mean, definitely leans into, you know, not speaking as network, but I mean, that's seers kind of in a nutshell. They think they're the best. They have access, you know, especially prelates where they're like, hey, I really
Sky
need an
Daddy
artifact.
gave me these toys.
Yeah. You know, heck, when the Paternoster showed up, they were flaunting 2 different artifacts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when that happened.
I am a little worried about the whole ending civilization.
Bringing them all together because we don't know what that will do.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm super curious about.
Yeah, because we've
Slam them
established
bad boys together, crack them open, drag the A beats out.
we've established that we can't actually study what they do until we do have them all.
Right. So far, for those of us, joining late, the four of them seem to have connections, but you can't really even notice that they are connected until they're near each other. Individually, they are just grimoires that have a bonus reach.
Nice grimoires.
And, oh, yes, they're nice grimoires, yeah. +1 potency and a free reach and scale. But otherwise, they're just normal grimoires, and at a glance, they don't even look similar. The only thing that you guys have noticed is that there seems to be a particular Archmage signature Nimbus on them, as well as the veiling on the entrance to El Dorado.
And the touch of 5 different supernal worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Or 4 so far, but...
Yep.
It turns out the 5th one's just another fucking Arcadian. And you're like, wait, hold on. What has happened here? Lies.
You find the 5th one and realize, oh shit, there's 5 more of these. And that's how we start next season. Yeah, no.
Please no.
I still think we need to be careful about leaving no traces, because there's a difference between knowing who's responsible and having sympathetic connections to who's responsible.
Right.
Okay. Well,
and that's a very easy thing for death.
Without a trace literally does that.
Mm-hmm.
You'll shed nothing. Don't leave your soulstone there.
Listen, it was that one time. When you mentioned actually making, not leaving a soulstone, Neko goes, oh, right. I got distracted. That's a thing I'm going to be working on this afternoon. Yeah.
It's like Mayan Grim. Supe. He's death god.
Yep. And not technically a supernal, but follows some rules of a supernal. But is definitely not actually a supernal being that represents some kind of supernal concept brought down.
Mm-hmm.
It's a super golem.
Oh, so that was in Peru.
Yep. And actually, well, I was going to say unrelated to the grimoire, sort of unrelated to the grimoire. That's where the grimoire ended up, but... And that's one to...
Still fucked.
Yeah, that's
Still
another
so
one
fucked
to...
up.
That's another one to run your noodle over of like, wait, hang on.
500
Judd ended
years
up
ago.
there.
800 years ago.
Was it supposed to end up there, or did he just happen to end up there?
Didn't he say someone sent him?
He didn't remember, right?
He remembers exploring the area and then finding himself down and face to face with Supe, and Supe said, "Oh, perfect, a judge." Plop. You work here now.
One of those.
Yeah, I'm now not going to let you die. Hey, did you fix all those people that were in cold storage down there, or are they still there?
All? No.
No. It's an ongoing project.
Okay.
I figure it's probably a lot of mental magic that I'm not really happy with, but is necessary to make them functional people in modern society.
Yep. And in my head, it's one of those things that there's probably some folks, because they're all more or less either from that area or there's some like conquistador types, and that you've possibly been working with Alejandro and kind of using that to kind of nudge them into society. Because at this point, if they weren't sleepwalkers before, they probably are now.
I was figuring they were all going to end up as, could they have awakened? If their brains broke badly enough from
potential awakenings, potential banishers, probably some deviants coming out of the mix, and then some just kind of because they've been affected by so much magic coming out as sleepwalkers without having an awakening. All sorts.
They would all be at least sleepwalkers, so
yep.
The magic community in that area could kind of also help them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. In short, we didn't want to put a big focus on it, but they're being taken care of.
This. Grimoire hunt plans?
And a thing I will bring up is that also like researching about this Archmage, about the armory, the vault itself, to figure out like, because it should be very obvious. It's not just the Grimoire in there.
Right.
So what other stuff is in there? It's like, hey, listen, if we're already going in, I
didn't get to loot Graves' Spirit Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Looting.
We chose not to loot
Tetrarch's vault.
Right.
We chose not to loot Graves' Spirit Castle.
Right. And then also, the vault, the contents of the vault, and then seeing if you can figure out who this Archmage is and what kind of information is floating out there, just to have some sense of, what is going on. And I haven't seen Chris. Okay, there we go. I was like, Chris warned us that he might freeze or break. So no, he's back.
No, I'm good.
That might be a good astral exploration avenue to take. Finding more about the Archmage doing that astrally might be worthwhile.
Yeah, because in the Temenos, if two people have talked about it, it's out there.
Mm-hmm.
How connected it is to other realms, how secure, how whatever. That's a whole other thing. But Songbird is out there at this point. The Rookery probably exists out there, especially within the considering what Network has been doing and setting up the fact that the Rookery is a secure place for supernatural folks. It definitely, there is somewhere the Rookery in the astral, and then, yeah.
Birds.
Lots of birds.
Many birds.
So do you guys have a particular first step?
More of a last step kind of person.
I like the idea of trying to see what we could find out about what the Tetrarch of the Panopticon? No. He's not like the head of the Panopticon. Right. He's one of them. So you can figure out what this guy has.
Yep. So there's that. I'm trying to think. Well, yeah. I don't have to come up with how you would find that. That's up for you.
Don't have my Gregor dots. Because my Athenaeum's not great at, this.
Well, we know who really doesn't like the Seers and might have more information about them.
The Free Council.
Yeah. Don't you have a friend there?
Mm-hmm. I also have an apprentice there.
Perfect.
Yep. And there's also, the biggest Free Council cabal you guys know, who kind of sort of owes you a favor, but not really.
I mean, we did kind of set loose a bunch of messed up spirits and werewolves on them.
No, I wasn't even talking about that. Because
Founding Fathers.
Yeah, the Founding Fathers. Over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Moving right along.
Okay. I didn't need that particular underline, but thank you. So
yeah, I like.
Go ahead. No, you're good.
No, I was just thinking I like the idea of looking into the stuff. Because I still do have an obsession. I haven't gone after it in a long time of gathering things for the Mysterium. Basically being a magpie for the Mysterium. Or just fun new mysteries.
Look, make me smart and I'll go to Philly.
We could all go.
I mean, yeah, but splitting up for different research purposes seems
fairly safe, so long as everybody keeps a cell phone handy so they can call Weird. And Weird can go, "You're in a problem? Tank, I need an exit."
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. So Songbird goes to Philly. You talk to your apprentice.
And the local free council, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I feel like I'm probably closer with Factory.
Mm-hmm.
Dreadnought is...
I mean, there's a difference between a student and, your Moros
like someone
counselor.
I chat with and hang out with, yeah.
right.
No, I'm no mind mage, but maybe Network can give me a hand in the Astral. Go to the Temenos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if nothing else, just scouting it out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Is Network down for that?
Split the party.
Sure.
And Network is a mind mage. Yeah, like the Temenos, the Astral. That's his shit. So absolutely.
That's good because I wanted to talk to him anyway about that sort of stuff.
Cool. Righto. So yes, 30 minutes in, the Cabal has completely split the party in 3 different directions.
It'll be fine.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, it's much easier to do that in D&D because I don't have to worry about accidentally killing any of you because hopefully you all are just doing research. Well, research in Mage can be dangerous, not necessarily super threatening. Cool. So just how smart are you making Songbird? And also, why are we making Songbird smart before going to Philly?
So he can communicate intelligently with the Founding Fathers.
Yeah.
Like investigation dots or academics dots or something.
Or both.
Yeah. Well,
or a cult. I have 0 dots of investigation.
Oh,
or
cool.
Academics.
That's a whole different spell then.
Okay. I mean, it works exactly the same.
And here's the trick. Because you could cast them both as a combined spell, and you can get to buff both. Because you're not... Each spell has... Say you have 4 potency.
Oh.
That's 4 attributes and 4 skills that you're increasing. Mm-hmm. As we mentioned earlier today in Discord chat, listen, Mastigos aren't necessarily know-it-all charming bastards, but they can be.
But they can always choose to be.
Yep. Songbird screaming, "Smart me!" I can't tell if that's a verb or an adjective.
I think it's a verb.
Let's see. I think I'll give you investigation, Riley. And what's the other one? The one to increase an attribute.
Mm-hmm. And that'll just be in 3-dot mind spell. Augment mind.
Yeah. See, I was going to.
I want to call it hone the mind.
Hone the mind. I mean, yeah.
Sure.
I was going to increase int and investigation. I don't think reach matters.
And not if you're casting in your domain, which, again, I will remind folks, we are definitely doing this wrong. Yeah. But we will continue to do it wrong for the rest of the Chronicle. There will be no mercy in the next Chronicle.
Okay. These are both potency spells. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they are 4.
Because you have mine 4.
By default? Okay. I will do a -2, so you can get 5 dots.
And durations.
Yeah, I was doing. Does it give a -4 for a week?
-4 for a week, yep.
Mm-hmm.
15 day, week, month, year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. For Yantras, I have my. Oh, God, I died thinking. The Ebonthenic Soulstone for 3.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I'm fucking with brains, which is what they do.
I mean, it's a soul stone, so
yeah. It's also a fitting soul stone, though.
Very.
Shed a name, and we can get one more for like a 1.
Actually, I think there might be an Ebon Phoenix. Let's see here.
The domain is +3.
Oh, actually, does that work on domains or just verges?
It's from our Sanctum Merit.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Yes.
So that's 8, which counteracts my minuses. What's that number? Oh, God. Yeah, my second monitor cuts off the bottom of the screen if I don't have it maximized. 9.
3 successes. 3. Cool.
So you have 5 dots in investigation and 5 in int.
And that's 5 additional.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I could have used the reach to let you go over 5. So
it doesn't matter. It's not over.
Because he has higher gnosis, so his max value is...
Can go to 6 without there being a problem.
Yep. It's a little silly. But hey, welcome
now this doesn't, like, Smart Slimer doesn't necessarily have more knowledge. They just have the capacity for it.
Hang on, let me open this book here that I've got about vampires. Let's see here, because they have descriptions of what happens when you start getting into 6-dot stuff.
I want to bring back the Smartbird name.
Smartbird is pretty great.
It's just, you're like unnaturally weird.
Yeah, slowing her mind down to talk with others is boring and dispiriting. She's an expert in her field, trying to explain to a layperson if the layperson were particularly recalcitrant animal. It's like Mage on crack.
It's Teravangian.
Yes. So yes, very good stuff. And yeah, and no paradox there either too. So cool.
So, that's fun.
Yeah. All right, and then Songbird heads off to Philly. Any particular travel method?
Probably train.
Okay.
Like an hour and a half.
Right. Yeah. I was just more mundane or magic. Sure. It's like, thanks guys. All brained up, ready to go to school. Hops on the train, heads out. Atreides has the most mundane of things, literally just calling up factory and saying, okay, let's have a meet. Cool. And then as Atreides leaves that way and Songbird leaves that way, Weird, Nico, and Network are like, all right, cool. Nico's like, I need to go pick an object, so I'll be back. And she's just gone, probably to go raid her home to find something that really means something to her. And then Network and Weird are sitting there looking at each other and going, okay.
Astral?
Yeah, we want to do this now, you said?
Now works.
Cool. And he, walks over to, the little room that actually I guess has Grave, Soulstone, and Soul in a jar, probably locked up and hidden away. And he drops into, he like settles into a meditative stance and kind of looks over at you and says, your place or mine?
Let's go to yours.
All right. Just a little grin.
Small part of Jimmy inside has been waiting to say that.
We wanted to see this for a long time.
So he motions for you to sit across and says, all right, cool. I'll meet you there. And you just watch as his whole body just slackens and he is instantly into meditation and right into falling into his thing. You do get a whiff of your peripheral mage sight. He's basically using a mind spell for dropping into lucid dreaming and then right into his own heroes. And you can go ahead and roll resolve plus composure real quick. We'll just see how long it actually takes Weird to get there.
Stop. She's shredding a napkin. I can't get away from her.
Oh no, not the napkin.
Paper must die.
Yes. So with 3 successes, Weird takes the full hour to properly center herself and step into the Oneros and onto her astral path. And as you do so, you feel the just draw of networks, Oneros kind of reaching out, just this inviting hand. You could easily just bypass it and go to your own, but obviously the plan is to be there and just follow along. And you move from, bramble and thorn, not quite jungle, but heavy forest of the acanthus path and onto networks, which is heavy tar asphalt street that just kind of falls off and, ruin burning buildings beneath, and then step through into his Oneros, and you find Jimmy Network standing, looking much like Morpheus. The glasses are on, the jacket is on, the full thing. He goes, "Welcome, Weird. I've been waiting." Like, seriously, what took you so long?
I got here as quick as I could.
Okay, sure. And immediately just watch as he just shifts and is basically wearing exactly what he had been wearing earlier. Definitely get the idea that between being a Mastigos and just Network himself, his Oneros and this astral self thing is just not natural, but he's worked on it, and he's like, "Guys, hey, check this out! I'm cool, right?" This, but
he's like a poser.
But basically, kind of extends his hand to you and walks into the dream vestibule, and it is a almost exact replica of Grand Central Station, and from here, he looks about and says, "We can have a little walk around and, talk some other time, but we have something to do. But I know you like Oneros stuff. So, we can arrange we'll visit each other's and we'll, swap some stories and we'll, get to know each other. Cause I know mind magic isn't quite your thing, but, Oneros diving, that's the term we keep using, but I guess it works in character. Okay. We can do that sometime if you're interested."
I'm also interested in going deeper.
How so?
Well, there's this I can't remember if we told him about it. There's this tear that moves around that leads right to the astral from the physical. So it's possible to transport yourself physically into the astral.
That sounds like a really bad idea.
Yes.
I'm into this. Yeah. Okay. We'll put a sticky note on the fridge when we get back. But I'm curious. That sounds fucking terrifying, but also interesting. Sure.
And there's a lot of Celtic folklore about people who end up in the other world and live out entire lives and then come back the moment after they first departed, or they're just there for a short time and come back hundreds of years later, which seems very astral to me, and they physically transported themselves there is kind of the theory.
Now we're taking the step back because the whole losing time I'm not into that, but nonetheless.
Yeah, but that got me thinking about maybe that's where this folklore came from, was people encountering this terror and ending up in the astral.
I mean, I believe it. The astral has all sorts of terrifying stuff in it, and
And it's kind of shaped by what your expectations, like where you end up is shaped by your expectations. So if you expect to find, a green woodland land, and that's what you're going to end up
and of course,
when you get there.
And just a quick reminder for you, it leads to the Anima Mundi. Well, excuse me, no, it leads anywhere. What's his face? Can only go to the Anima Mundi.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that'll... Okay, yeah. I think we have a couple things on our plate first, but...
Sure, yeah.
No, that sounds...
But that whole thing got me really interested in the Anima Mundi, and I've never been, and I'm kind of getting interested in exploring it.
I'm very curious, but considering what Songbird said when he decided to go out to... Actually, I'm trying to remember, Chris, did you actually tell people that you'd gone out to the Aeons?
I don't think he did.
Okay, cool, yeah.
That's my little secret.
Right.
Songbird hasn't told us pretty much
anything.
Yeah.
But from what I've read about the Anima Mundi, the whole ecstatic wind, and it sounds terrifying, but it sounds like it sounds
a bit of a
and be
meat
prepared.
grinder, but a hell of a ride.
Right.
Not that bad.
All right. Cool. Well, yeah, you went there with a purpose to go and explore, though, and just kind of wander. That's gonna be a whole other.
Might not do it if my gnosis was 7.
Yeah.
Because it's worse the higher your gnosis is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because
I think gnosis 7 is like every turn.
You have, but you also are like rolling your gnosis to resist or something like that. I can't remember.
It's some weird.
Yeah,
it's a weird mechanic.
Yeah,
it has no analogs to like any other part of the fucking game.
Terrific. Have I mentioned how much I love the Astral? Anyways, Network says okay.
Sticking with that, we'll talk about that later. In the meantime,
where in the Temenos do we walk to?
Well, we're looking for vaults, so we might start with, like a museum or something.
Sure, but we don't pick a museum; we pick a concept. So we can start with museums and go to vaults, but
I'm really for an orphanage
or a bank.
Both of which sound absolutely terrifying to try to go from here's the front, now we want to get into the vault. That sounds like it will be a challenge.
I'm not a mind mage. I'm just throwing ideas out there to provide inspiration.
I mean, unfortunately, like the sheer concept of vaults, that kind of is what we're going to be up against, even if we went strongholds or anything like that. Yeah, well, let's try banks. I mean, I'll be honest, I've always thought about what it would be like to rob a bank. So, and extends his hand out to yours. And as he does, like his attire shifts a little bit to be very like classic adventurer garb, leather vest, sword at his hip, to the pixie fairy weird, and says, "Are you ready for an adventure?"
Absolutely.
All right. And leading the way, he basically leads you guys along to the Temenos, and you find yourselves in an enormous bank, or rather at the front lobby of it. The line of tellers is just ridiculous. There's massive people moving. There's areas that are loud with like money counters, heavy, big mechanical ones. The flip of like bills, and just a general susurrus of sound. Network is there in its actual astral form, which I believe we determined was what did we say its astral form was? Chat and Discord never came by to talk about what they think Network's astral form should look like. Yeah,
we talked about like a sort of a hackery, like big cyberpunk goggles kind of thing.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, standing there.
Very what's her name? From Persona 5.
Oh, missed that one.
Futaba.
Thank you, chat. Which doesn't mean much to me, but I'll Google it here in a second.
I don't know who that is.
Just good.
But kind of looks, from himself over to you, past all the, dream actors, and says, okay, need to get into a vault. Do you think we have an account here?
Absolutely.
Because we have a vault, sort of, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, for sure we do. It's defended and warded and everything.
All right.
So I think we have a safety deposit box here.
Sure. All right. Let's see how that works. Kind of shakes himself. Kind of, all right, let's do this. And, moves in with you. And you guys queue. And in the passing, the way time moves in the astral, you queue. And time just flows. And you guys step forward to, the next. And all right.
When you've finished a dramatically appropriate conversation, it's your turn to go up to the teller.
Yep. And step forward, and network starts up and goes, actually, I believe you're the account holder. You actually have something in the vault.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Hi, I'd like to check out my safe deposit box.
And the woman who looks like every bank account, and, primmed up and smiling little sticker that says, have a nice day, that says, oh, okay, absolutely, and slides a little jar of little lollipops over towards network and says, and what name would that be under?
Sephiron.
No, I don't seem to have a account under that name.
Okay. Try weird. With a Y.
Interesting. Yes, the Rookery. And draws back and kind of stands up and comes around and little side and lets you into a large vault, and all this is in this kind of disjointed dreamlike sets of movement.
We don't actually walk through, we just kind of end up there. Yeah.
Right. Basically you go from walking there around through this enormous building sized vault door, and there are lines and lines, walls and walls of almost like a library, in the fact that it has aisles of safety deposit boxes. And she kind of walks along, counting off, and then, here we are. And I suspect you have a key. Network just casually pulls it out from his pocket, of course. You guys kind of look at her. She looks at you, and okay, very well. Makes her way back up to the front. Network hands the key over to you and says, I ain't opening it.
Well, we only wanted to get in here so we could find the box we're looking for, right?
Sure. But do you want to,
Oh, okay. I'll open it up.
Yeah. Within, you find two, it's a, small little drawer that slides open, and then Mary Poppins style, you pull out two enormous tomes. Big, heavy, leather-bound, ancient papered grimoires. And, quick flip open, and they're devoid, empty of any actual information other than, oh, hey, there are two grimoires in here.
All right. And one of them Aesop's Fables, the other one is...
Not even labeled that much.
Okay. Okay.
Just a representation of a grimoire.
Sure. So they look like the old wizard spellbook covered in dust sort of thing. Yeah.
Yep. So quick back in, and so Network is looking, going, okay, So if that's the information we get about our vault, I guess I can figure out what kind of information we'll be getting about their vault. Now the question is, how do we... Oh, wait, never mind. I figure you can find us the right one.
Absolutely. I should have prepared. I knew this was going to come.
Cool. And while you're doing that, zoop, Chris or Ash?
Me.
Okay. Whoever blinks first. Yeah. So, Songbird, you have a rather enjoyable ride on, the train. I imagine it's a lot of posting to Instagram and social media and being a Canthus while you travel, because there's no reason to be Songbird while you travel, at least in my head. And you feel the little peripheral mage sight tug of passing into the Philadelphia area. And then you get a text almost immediately. And it's our... Oh boy, hang on. Founding Fathers. That's not even the right... Oh my gosh. What is his name? Because he's not one of the Founding Fathers.
Santiago?
Santiago, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And Santiago immediately texts you and goes, "Welcome back. What's up?"
I wanted to visit the Fathers.
All right. Anything I need to know about?
Nah.
All right. I'm trusting you.
Research.
Cool. A string of emojis of like good luck, some like big books and like magnifying glass stuff, and yeah.
Just pure unadulterated stream of upside down emoji.
Yeah. And so you make your way to the station, and where do you head next? Because you know where that one major guild hall was, or do you reach out and like arrange a meeting kind of thing?
I'm gonna reach out to John Jay.
Cool. Yeah. Jay picks up.
So we got along well.
Yeah. Amazing. The most fiercest of Brimos getting along with the fiercest. Who knew? She picks up and she goes, "Hey, what's up?"
Hey, I'm in Philly. Was hoping to swing by and maybe ask for a couple favors.
I mean, you are welcome to ask, and our doors are always open. You remember the way?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We will see you here shortly. I will, make myself somewhat presentable. And yeah, you hear rustle of like she probably wasn't at the guild hall, and meets you there, which similar to before, it is a beehive of activity. New projects are moved. I mean, it has been multiple months. Well, actually, past the 6 month. Yeah, so it's been more than half a year since you guys were here. Projects have moved, and like there are some new like walls that have been put up inside the building, and they look very like temporary. Like we're walling off this area for whatever reason, and you did, yeah, like you can
don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't ask any questions. You don't work here. But yeah, Jay is basically sitting with her feet up and like literally has a magazine in her hands, like is killing time, looks up, sees you, flings it over her shoulder and goes, "Thank fucking God." Songbird, and like just immediately goes in for like the quick hug and says, "Okay." Hi. So I gotta admit, I'm kind of spooked. You call when you're already here? What's going on? Is this all?
Well, I mean, I had things to take care of on the train, so.
Oh, okay. And you didn't call before the train?
Well, it's kind of a spur of the moment decision to come down here, so.
Okay, no, that's cool. And so it's spur of the moment and not like skullduggery or anything like that. Okay, no. That makes me feel hey, last time you were here, you were sneaking into a seer compound and kicking some ass. So I was just like, hang on, do I need to call the SWAT team or something? All right, cool.
No, you're good. They're good.
So, what brings you to Philly? You said research and favors?
Yeah, so We are still working on our ongoing project of sort of acquiring certain objects.
Right, the grimoire.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We believe that a Tetrarch has the one that we need.
Shit, you guys don't ever aim low, do you? Okay.
No.
Wait, but not here in Philly then, because okay.
Well, we will know where it will be.
Fucking time magic bullshit. Okay, sure, yeah.
Sure, yeah, that's exactly it. But seeing as your wonderful group here is, in my estimation, one of the most accomplished at removing seer influence, and I figure there's probably a lot of information dug up along those lines. I thought I could come ask for some favors and try and figure out some stuff about this person.
Okay, yeah, sure. That kind of stuff is not freely available, but readily available for anybody who wants to ass kick some seers. I'm on board.
Right.
So let's let's not do this here because that feels gauche. And like just immediately like arm in arm grabs you and like up the stairs, which previously you guys hadn't gone up to before because you'd been using this stuff down below. And then up to what looks like, once you get inside, one of those like half glassed like small offices. And it definitely looks like this is clearly Jay's place. There are like potted plants everywhere. It is like compared to every place else, it's very green and like, very Thyrsus.
Before all the plant part, I was going to say like M's office in Men in Black.
A little bit, yes.
Where like looks out over everything and
yeah. Well, imagine like a bunch of those up on that upper level.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, she steps in with you and just immediately like leans back on the desk and goes, "Okay, so what information are you wanting? That way I can tell you how much it's going to cost you." And like, and her face has changed. She's still very friendly, but it's like, all right, discussion time.
Serious, yeah, for sure. Anything you might know about? Do we have a name of this person?
You guys haven't like dug up a name.
I don't know anything. Okay.
We know that they are a Tetrarch.
You know they're a Tetrarch, that they're tied to that particular pylon.
Out in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So they're the Tetrarch attached to, at least partially attached to Seattle, the Panopticon. And they have a teleporting, constantly moved something vault of stuff.
Interesting.
We've spent a great amount of effort this summer tracking down and trying to hit this vault and basically cleaning up leftovers after it had been moved.
Okay.
But constantly one step behind.
Hence the time magic. Okay, cool. I get this. All right. So basically we're looking for a Tetrarch who owns a teleporting, traveling, moving armory of bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, well that at least potentially narrows it down.
Right.
Okay, but I get the gimme. Okay. Well, let's.
I mean, I have info about people that used to work under them.
Oh, that will definitely help, especially because we can work backwards from there. But okay,
right.
But vaults and armory of bullshit. I think we have settled on payment because we did this before, and I'll be honest, it worked wonders for us.
It worked out pretty well. Yeah.
So you're after a grimoire, don't really care about the other shit. I imagine right. But I imagine in this particular case, we're not going to be the ones necessarily providing muscle because it's not our area. And also, if it is a Tetrarch, I imagine muscle is probably not the attitude that you're going into this. Going to be more, in and out, smash and grab kind of thing.
Yeah, grab what we can get kind of thing.
Right. Because I imagine you're not trying to go toe-to-toe with a Tetrarch, whether they're actually an Archmage or not.
Yes.
and she grins. She's like, fuck. Okay. Uh-huh. Yep. All right.
I mean, if they're not an Archmage...
Sure.
Then I'm not scared to fight them.
Right. But if they turn out to be...
out, in the city of Philly, I've heard you have a phrase that you use down here. It's fuck around, find out.
Yeah, and I don't know. Archmage is what I'm interested in. Whew, okay, well, hey, it's
it's a big gamble.
It's your thing.
Right.
Okay. So all right. Well, we could immediately throw out, hey, we don't give a damn about any of their profane, bullshitty artifacts.
No.
But, other stuff that you've got.
Definitely.
Okay. And do you know what else is in there? Cool.
Based on the size of the buildings that it has been housed in, I would imagine a bit. Also, we're talking Panopticon, so
space, yeah.
But if they're already using that much of a building,
sure. Okay.
From Songbird's head, it's like if they're already using a big building, then they're probably just making it bigger. So it's got to be at least this big to begin with.
With my space,
doesn't actually have to.
My Space Zero Arcana tells me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, I've watched Weird do some things. It's fine. Like
big buildings mean they have much stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I don't want to hammer out a definite agreement unless I have some information to give you.
Right.
Chill here. Do you have a place to stay here in Philly?
Find one.
Okay, cool. I mean, Guildhall has a bunkhouse. It's not super comfy, but it's a bed. So
I've slept in worse.
Okay. Cool. Make yourself. Well, no, not at home.
Semi at home.
Yeah. Hopefully I get back to you in the next hour or two. If not, I will give you, a heads up on whether or not you need to, crash or head back. Because, I mean, it's not too bad of a, ride. So, yeah, okay. And so she kind of...
Definitely go there and back in a day.
Yeah. And so she kind of escorts you back out. And
cool.
Kind of pats her shoulder, points out, some of the other folks that, Alexander Hamilton is down there and stuff like that.
They're wasting time.
Right. And Jay makes her way basically across the upper level back to the big corner office, where Steampunk Grandpa.
Say it. Say it.
Where Benjamin Franklin basically is set up as, first among equals kind of scenario. And you can see him in there who he gives you a little sup kind of thing as John Jay walks in and the door opens and Ben looks up to catch your eye and goes, okay, this is going to be a thing. And I heard the ping earlier, cutting back over to the Temenos real quick. And then we'll probably end up jumping over to Atreides. So you do not have unlimited reach.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was the case.
Yeah, no. Within the astral, mind magic has a -2 paradox. Everything else follows all the normal rules of reach, except that the actors, the dream actors, don't count as sleepers. So you can still do magic in front of them, but yeah, you don't get free reach.
So do I have 2 or 3 free? I'm trying. I've been a while since I've done this.
What spell are you casting?
I'm doing a combined spell, shifting the odds, divination, like I've done before.
Okay, so you're going to use shifting the odds because that is your higher. That's your fate.
Right.
And so, and that's a shifting the odds is what, 3 dots?
2.
Okay, so yeah, that gives you 4 free reach.
3.
Yeah, 3. Thank you. I was like, hang on, math.
Oh wait, no, wait, fate 5.
4.
Yeah, 4. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm good. Okay,
it's 1 plus the difference.
Right.
Yep.
Now, bear in mind, your pool, though, you are using your time arcana. Okay, you've already got it in there. Cool.
Yeah.
So 10 minus 5. Yep. Hey, there you go.
I will take a condition.
Sure. Let us go with probably investigation. But could also see you doing larceny or let's probably go with larceny.
Larceny.
Yeah.
Sure, that works.
So yeah, you very quickly, because what are the 4 reach there? What are you putting it into basically?
1 reach for the quick find on
shifting the
odds. 1 for instant cast, 1 advanced duration, and 1 for the divination of specific question.
Sure.
So doing the same thing, like divining with my crystal pendant.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
To lead us to the lockbox we're looking for.
Right. Oh, and which yantras are you using there?
I'm using Shadow Name and my crystal pendant.
Okay, cool. Yeah, which your crystal pendant you'd probably have in the astral for sure. Cool.
You can, because you can use any path tool that you've used in the real world.
Right.
And just whoop, here it is. Dream logic, baby.
Materialize it.
I love it. So yes, very quickly whipping that out and following the moving pendant, Network kind of gives a look around and says, okay, let's be a little more subtle about this, and basically lays hands on the 2 of you and casts incognito presence. Reduced reach, and basically rests his hand on your shoulder and just quietly follows you as you like I said, you can see your pendant. You're not visible or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And begin to wander and meander. And multiple times, like there's where it's like, okay, we're just going to stand here for a minute as you watch guards patrolling the vaults. As you know, and these are like ranging from, kind of rent-a-cop, mall cop kind of looking folks to some guys who are stationed at like big caged
Fort Knox soldiers or something like
mm-hmm.
that. Yeah.
And then, some other more like suited up Bellagio, very classy looking, but will definitely beat you up behind the, casino style of guards and stuff like that, and move through. And while that you had that one large main chamber that you'd walked into, moving through, you find other styles of vaults, and it takes you a bit just from the sheer nature of like meandering through. And as you travel, you realize that this is area after area after area, and they all just kind of blend together and like by themselves are a labyrinth of these places.
I'm imagining this is actually like a Nero's journey or a Temenos journey, like we're going through different vaults and getting closer and closer to the concept that we're looking for.
Yeah, you could definitely look at it that way. Yeah, because it's all just packed in here, and it is a vault, and it's designed for you to not get stuff. And yeah, you basically spend a good bit of time, and your spell wears out. As you basically find yourself standing in. Well, actually, before I say that, go ahead and roll Gnosis plus Fate.
Okay, but my duration would have been a week.
We'll get to that. Go ahead and roll Gnosis plus Fate.
Okay. Just because Divination's a duration spell.
Right.
Gnosis plus Fate.
Mm-hmm.
The Composure Resolve off this time before I roll.
Not a gigantic die pool. Woo!
No, one success. Layla.
She's being ignored.
The poor thing.
Wild.
Yeah. So
I heard my precious son yodeling a second ago.
As you are walking through, you realize not so much that the spell ends, so much as that hour of your you'll find it within the hour, and basically there's a combination, and feel free to get creative with me here on this, but basically you start to realize that you're starting to walk some of the same paths. You've seen this section of vaults before, and time is hard to keep track of within the astral of like, have we been actually searching for an hour, and you basically go, okay, hang on, something isn't jiving quite right. And that's when you feel, and I feel like you can recognize the clash. Because technically your divination worked, but the fate aspect of finding this particular thing is like, ooh, hang on. As you kind of pull up and stop, Network goes, what's up?
So I've been doing this sort of thing in the real world for a long time, and he's obfuscating himself in fate. So that's why we always show up just after he's moved rather than when it's where we think it is. Because we've hit him, 5 or 6 times?
Probably that or more, yeah.
Yeah. But he's doing it here in the Temenos as well. Okay.
How do we beat him at his own game?
I put a lot more power into the spell.
All right. And as you are doing that, I'm going to pause Craig for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Like looking about, like I said, you've been circling through the same set of vaults, but not necessarily been directed directly to a lockbox.
Yeah.
And all these lockboxes are not like numbered or identified by like some obfuscation. Many of them have symbols and words on them.
Look with your eyes.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, let's be honest. It's mage. Throwing a spell at everything is A-okay, but, you know. Thank you, chat. It's almost like he's much more powerful than you.
Well, we knew that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure that he would reach into the Temenos to warn himself, too. Or does that just cross boundaries? I guess it would just cross boundaries.
Meta-wise, yes.
Yeah.
Because this is something akin to occultation, where it's just like, you're trying to find stuff about me? Fuck off.
How much duration do I need for the boost?
Every basically -2 that you take in duration is going to be +1 to the die roll for a Clash of Wills.
Okay, and if I get duration automatically, does that count as well?
Yeah, like if you are casting a fate spell that is if its primary factor is duration, then yes.
Okay, so I would have had, it's a +2 on the die roll or +1? +1 for every 2?
How long is the duration?
Well, it was going to be a week on the original spell that I cast. So
+2.
+2, yeah.
So I'll boost it to a year.
I think that's the most you can get, right? Is the 5 from a year.
Mm-hmm.
Or from a year.
Does potency help me with the withstand?
The advanced
or clash?
The advanced potency does, yes. The reach does, yes.
What else can I do to boost the potency or my
That's about
clash?
it.
That's
about it.
Use a willpower.
Willpower, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Do I need instant cast now with Incognito Presence, or?
That's up to you. I mean, Incognito Presence is good. It's really good, but it's not flawless.
Okay.
Your ritual time is like 10 minutes, though, right? Or less?
That is a good question.
Because you're 7. It's like 5 minutes.
7, it's
10. I thought it was 10.
Find it out.
It's 10 because then at 9 it goes.
Yep. 10 minutes.
1 minute. Someone has Gnosis 9. They have made a conscious decision to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They have cracked open every mystery in the world to get all of those arcane beats.
All right. So overreaching a little bit.
Yep.
And then 10. The duration 6, 12. Cool. What are we doing with the reach?
Is it 3 mana? Is it 3?
I mean, you have 4 paradox.
Oh, so I'll spend 4.
Okay. Cool. So just chance die. Nothing happens.
So that's 10 and 2 is 12.
Cool. I can get that mana back if you want.
Yep.
All right. And then go ahead and roll your Gnosis plus Fate plus the 5. Yeah.
Plus 8.
Oh, spending willpower.
Yep.
Cool. Well, there you go. Cool. So yeah, with that, and I imagine Weird is like, "Fuck this guy." I'm going to
That's right.
Fade off.
I'm gonna flex my fate muscles.
Cool. And so yeah, you work. You take the 10 minutes to go ahead and work up the spell again. This time,
I did instant cast.
Okay. And just kind of like no time crap. Going to focus in on this. And this time your pendant, draws you basically, and you find yourself walking that same path of vaults. But this time, as you're moving in one of the chambers, you kind of deviate down an aisle. And where yours had been this small like almost card catalog little thing that you pulled a grimoire out of Mary Poppins style. These are big, heavy duty, like locker sized things. But it's behind a set of gates with 2, we'll say, Anubiseth-esque looking guards in full, like, Egyptian, like, attire, big black, staves across them, and looking around at the rest of the stuff. None of this looks like ancient world, and like it doesn't look like it's made from sandstone or anything like that, but some of these symbols, some of these words and names, you're like, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Okay. It's through there.
Network is next to you going, yeah, of course it is.
Of course it is.
Okay. Well, do you have any idea what those guys are? Pointing at the 2 big guards, because I don't.
Well, I recognize the Egyptian references, but the representations of the defenses he has, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the mind expert, but the representations of the defenses he's got on his vault.
Yeah, I mean, they're Goche of some kind. I'm just... Okay.
Are they like from the Stargate series, sort of, Anubis guards?
because I'm really bad about that, but we'll go with probably. Yeah, think 7-foot tall, jackal-headed, warriors. It doesn't look like not like the they have a weird helmet. No, like you can see the jaw open, the nostrils flare. Like
they're units in Age of Mythology. They're real good.
Yeah, like they're from the Mummy. They're from WoW. Like we've seen these guys. These are aspects that we have seen of dark ancient tomb guardian types. And yeah, weird. Sorry, you're weird. Network goes. I can try and figure out how to make a deal with them, or I mean, I'm all for trying to sneak past them, but I have a feeling like that might be a bit of a clash, and I don't know if I'm going to handle it anywhere near as well as you do.
Yeah. I think if we can do it without alerting them, that's probably going to be better, because he may have actually been thorough enough to place guards in the Temenos. So these might actually be guards placed here by him rather than just representations of his actual defenses. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. All right, well, let me try something.
Sure.
And fortunately, I now have...
Yeah, he should be able to tell if they're actually Goche or if they're...
he can tell that they're Goche. Like, yeah, without a doubt.
From a glance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But... because
that's just mine too.
Mm-hmm. Now that I have... Network's character sheet in, this is so much easier to do. I'm just going to throw a quick 6 dice. I'm not going to mess with his yantras or anything like that. Okay. Yeah. Because he's not a player character, so he doesn't get to throw around big scary dice pool.
Real
but yeah, he's like, okay. No. I kind of poked my head in on, hi, how are you? What's going on? And I didn't like the screaming that came back. So, nope. So let's come up with a plan here, Weird. And notably, we'll take a break here because that'll let out of character you guys have a moment to maybe figure out what you want to do. I also want some coffee, and poor Ash has just been sitting over there. I'd like to talk to Factory at one point or another. So we'll pick back up for Twitch guys in just a minute. YouTube guys will figure out what happens on Friday as we round out stage 1 of Plan Recon. I don't know. We got to get a better name than that, guys. It's like I appreciate your concepts, but you got to give me something better than that. Bad jokes. I apologize. As always, thank you for joining us. Come hang out on Discord, yeetinto.space, and join us and chat with us. And you are super welcome. We would love to have you come chat with us. And a quick reminder, there's places for you to talk about your own games, and we want to hear about them. It is very cool, and I promise I will try to not steal your ideas for our own game. But that said, hey, if it ends up here, you're doing the same thing that everybody else does. Steal heavily from everybody else's stuff. It's best when you pull from obscure stuff that other people haven't seen, but sometimes you just pull Anubiseth guard people that everyone's like, that's from this thing and this thing and this thing. Yeah, yes.
Yes, it is.
Yep. And then if you want to support us monetarily, that's staylucky.club. Come by and support us there. There is a quick reminder. There's a Patreon post. You can come by, vote on the poll, give some comments about other stuff you would like to see from OA. We've got people talk about, hey, bring in another player, which I've been thinking about for a while. Bring in, do some stream stuff like video games, and I've thought about doing like a little content creation, like, hey guys, let's make a legacy together, because that comes up on Discord a lot. So some different stuff like that. We want to know what you guys would actually want to watch before we try and do anything. I mean, Chris and I already play video games. Actually, all of us play video games. But Chris and I like to stream them, so like we may just do that anyways. And if nobody shows up, whatever. I mean, hey, we didn't think anybody was ever going to watch this show anyways. Who knows? So again, thank you all for joining us. We will see you right after this. Twitch guys, YouTube guys, we'll see you on Friday.
Stay lucky.